there are differences here because I think us, essentially, we're moving to a new country. It means one, the accessibility for the resource. For example, in China, we have our own social media platform. When Chinese students first came here, the first thing is they need to learn how to access information. I think that's one thing. The other thing is, of course, the language barrier, but I think that's the thing you can actually overcome. And third one is, I think, is confidence.
Everyone, welcome to new episode of the diaXpora, where we will unpack the real journeys of the international talents building their life and the career in Australia. So I'm your host today, Crystal. I'm so excited to have a conversation today with you guys. And joining me today, we have two powerful voices of the international student and professional space. We have the Carrie Lee and Shiney Zhang. Can you guys introduce a little bit about yourself and the career path so far?
My name is Shiney, so I'm currently working in consulting for a couple of years. So I actually started my journey in law. So I did my bachelor degree in Macau, and then I moved to Australia in the middle of pandemic. So I'm very lucky enough to working at one of the big four firm for a couple of years now. So I'm very excited to join everyone here today. So talk about my experience and some lessons learned, and hopefully can help someone who will be listening to this episode. Yeah.
Yeah, like basically, if you're trying to find, like, to figure out how to work strategic and the human at work, yeah, this is your girl. Yeah, so it's your turn.
Hi everyone, my name is Carrie Lee. I'm currently a full-time startup founder, and before that I've been working in the finance industry in the past 6 years. If you want to ask me everything about audit, I may be the perfect person to talk to. I did my Master of Professional Accounting at UNSW. Before that, I actually majored in English of Arts Literature, and I could speak a bit of French before then, but now do not speak to me in French. I couldn't say any single word. So I started my career in PwC, just like Shiney, also another big four, in the external audit team. And then I moved to a global bank called Rabobank. I did internal audit there for a couple of years before I quit my full-time job and then started my full-time startup journey. I'm very excited to be here and share with you guys about my journey and experiences, because this is very aligned with what we're trying to do as well. So let's see.
Yes. Yeah, so both Carries and Shiny will bring you guys like rich insights, great experience, and all the deep passion, like for helping all the international students to navigate into the Australian job markets, right? So can you guys like take us back to when you first started job in Australia, like when you guys start hunting jobs? So like what was that like feel like with you guys? Is it difficult or any barriers for you guys at that time, back to the day?
Definitely, I can start
Yes.
with this one. And maybe I can see your team is also full of internationals. And if I use one word, that is hard. It's
Yes,
really
agree.
hard.
Oh my God.
And you can't say, oh, that's okay. You just need to get through, right? But then, no, it was hard. So
Yes.
you need a lot of, how do I say, resilience to get through all of the barriers. We are not English native speakers. So even if for interview, something as basic as the conversational level of the English,
Yes.
you have to prepare for it because it is not your native language. You have to really think about how you want to build your narrative.
Yes.
And even if, I'm not sure if you have faced that difficulty before, you have one thing you really want to say, but at the moment when you say it out,
Yes.
it means something less.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
definitely language
You have a lot of
barrier.
thing in your head.
Exactly.
Yeah, but you can't say it.
Exactly. And also, sometimes we didn't really feel we belong. And that is about mentality. So I have to say, you really need to build that resilience. And then while you have that resilience, and all you need is have a good plan. But yeah, I agree. It was
Yeah, good
really, really
practice.
difficult. I'm pretty sure Shiny can relate as well. Do you want to add on something?
Yeah, sure. So I think I actually constantly reflect in the past few years. And what I have noticed is I think job market is hard for everyone, including international student or domestic student. But there are differences here because I think us, essentially we're moving to a new country. It means one, the accessibility for the resource. For example, in China, we have our own social media platform. And when Chinese student first came here, the first thing is they need to learn how to access information. I think that's one thing. The other thing is, of course, the language barrier, but I think that is the thing you can actually overcome. And third one is, I think, is confidence, to be honest, because I think we're constantly telling us, okay, we're international student here, we don't really feel belong, but I think this is something you need to build on your mentality as well, because we actually bring something additional to the company. We bring in cultural diversity, we bring our different perspective. We are contributing a lot. So I think mentality actually is something I commonly see for a lot of international students as well. I would say the three top things. That's the key thing that I've been seeing. Yeah.
Yeah, how about the visa restrictions or something like cultural differences or like of the local experience? What do you guys think? Is like does it hit you guys a lot, like a lot when you're trying to adapt to the life here?
Yes, I think visa thing absolutely, and I think and also the cultural difference as well.
Yes.
I think in terms of the visa, so the approach, the way we think about it should be a bit different because visa, you need to like plan very, very ahead. I think it's a restriction, but you need to look at the successful stories because the reason why I start to think about differently because I heard a lot of stories about even though they're on international student visa or like temporary visa, they still end up find a very good employment. So I think you need to start to look at, okay, this is the goal I want to achieve and how can I actually achieve instead of thinking about, oh, actually I'm on visa and okay, I'm not gonna find a job. I think the mindset shift is actually very important and of course the culture difference. But I think you have to push yourself very hard because I remember back in the day, my English wasn't fluent like this at all.
Yes.
And when I first came to Australia, I was actually working in a Chinese restaurant and I spent my whole day and getting little pay. And
Yes.
after the whole day, you were like, oh, I'm so hard, so I'm so tired and I don't have energy to study. I don't have energy to do things actually important for me. And then I stop immediately because I think my parents spent so much money on this and I need to think more smartly. So I try to hunt for a job in retail. So because I have better pay, secondly, it's a way for me to put myself out there, practice my English, and learn what actually Australian thinking. So I think I definitely acknowledge we have a lot of limitations, but also I think you need to think about, okay, if there's a limitation, what's the best way I need to do it instead of the traditional ways of thinking.
I really second that.
Yes.
So yes, visa is something that is out of your control.
Yes,
So totally that's about mentality. If you want to really push through, right? And I totally agree with what Shiney just mentioned. You can't just focus on, okay, well, all of this big names company, McKinsey, Boston, or like even Big Four, two of them, maybe three of them, they require international, they require you to be a local resident. But then, so what? That is where action started to take place, right?
Yes.
You can't just say, I accept it as a reality, and then what am I going to do with it?
Yes.
Does it stop me from getting any valuable local experience? Come on, like going to work at a restaurant, like going to work in a retail doesn't really require a local residency, right? So focus on what you can do and focus on what you can get the control. So definitely do something. And one of the very first thing, because I mentored a lot, I am a career coach, and people reach out to us and say the number one first common thing they struggled is I don't know where I can start, or I don't know what I don't know. But
Yes.
you do. There's so many ways that you can ask for help, but you have to ask first.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I understand. Like they have to understand themselves. Like open their mind, open their heart to ask people. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, to know what they need. Yeah, that's really good. And like, do you guys have any assumptions like back to a day when you like hunting for jobs, but now it's not like no longer true? Do you guys have any assumptions like that?
Assumptions?
Yeah, something like regulations they're changing, like visa regulations. Yeah, do you guys have like any assumptions? Like it's no longer true by now. Like it's different, it's changing.
I think if I get your question right,
Yeah.
probably I would say with AI in space,
I see.
this
Yes.
is much higher likelihood you can access resource easily, and you can also build your personal brand much more easily because everyone can use LinkedIn.
Yeah.
If you want to be seen, if you want to be heard, and if you want your voice to be heard, and you want people to see, okay, even if I'm a year one student, and you can still introduce yourself to the world, and you can start posting on LinkedIn, and you can start posting, oh, I'm learning in public. This is what I've learned in my assignment. I had this ABC project. This is something that we're starting working with. So this is something that you can start to creating for yourself, even though no one invites you to be part of their team, to have some real life experience. I guess for the AI, for all of public available resources, one of the assumptions I would say common misconceptions, like mistake people had in their mind is I would only have the opportunity to develop myself if I get an internship. Yes and no. But if you really cannot get an internship at day one, does that stop you? No.
Yes.
You can create opportunity for yourself. And there are so many other ways to do it, right?
Yeah, I see.
Absolutely. And I think for me, based on my experience, and I think the assumption I had back in the days is I thought the way you hunt a job in Australia is actually similar as the way you do in China. Because I started my first internship when I was 18. So I constantly working, and back in the days, in China, if I apply, I usually have an interview. I usually get a job. And then, you bring in those ego when you first start hunting job in Australia, which, made me realize I actually made a huge mistake. I remember when I was actually apply a program at a UNSW. It's called Professional Development Program. That was
I did that too.
Yeah, that was a program that helped international students to navigate Australian workplace. And apparently you need to go through application as well, and they selective of people. And I was so confident with my resume. I was like, I'm absolutely gonna get selected. And the reality is, no, I didn't. And then I remember I was crying actually, and I was like, why? And then next day, I actually bring my resume and bring my application to the career center. Say, hey, this is what happened. Can you help me? And I remember the consultant, she looked at my resume and she told me, said, in Australia, we care about your story. We care about your personality, but you are full of bullet points. I'm a very logical person. I like bullet points because it's short, concise. But she said, when you write your application, we didn't really see why you want to do this and the reason behind it. And then actually take that away, and I thought about it for a couple of days. And I even searched it online to understand what she actually means. And then now I actually get it. So I think the next turn after it, and I leveraged her method, and I also reiterate, say, last year I actually applied this, but I made a mistake, blah, blah. And I think maybe they actually read it and they were like, you're a right person, I got it. I think that experience was very interesting, but it definitely hit me very hard because it's the first project I really want to get in when I was in Australia. But also it's a big lesson for sure. And, you need to do things differently based on the culture and based on the context. Yeah.
Wow, interesting answer.
Just
Yes.
to add on top of that,
Yeah, sure.
I applied that program as well, and I failed the first time. So I applied the second, and then we got in. And me and Shiny, we always like, because we also try to give back as well. So I feel like in the past couple of years, we always went back to that program as panel. So to share our failures and also to share the resilience as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's talk about the network. Yeah,
We love
use
it.
like networking, like we often hear advice like just network more, just go out and network more, but no one tells us how to actually do that. Do you have any advices for the international student like who just moved here and don't know how to networking with people? Like besides of like just joining the clubs in university and doing useless things
Yeah.
there.
Absolutely. So I think in terms of networking, I think I really learned a lot of things when I came to Australia, because I remember literally this week I was at a Microsoft one event. I was also speaking, and someone very senior from Microsoft, he told us, say, when you join those networking event or mentoring program, you actually need to, the most valuable networking is actually with your peers, with the mentees. And I personally find that was actually true, because Carrie and I, we were like friends for a long time. And the reason why we know each other, because we were like both very active at UNSW. We joined all those kind of program. So I want to tell those people who feel like a bit shy at first to network. I encourage you to at first maybe try to network with your peers. It will make it much easier, right? Because essentially you are making new friends.
Yeah.
You can literally say, hi, I'm starting this, how you find this program. I think that's one thing you can actually start. And second thing is, because I think for me, making friends is natural, but go out of my way, say, hey, this is me, I'm doing A, B, C, D, E, it's not very natural. So the way I think what worked best for me in the past few years was I tried to find an opportunity to connect with someone. For example, at a uni when I was doing project, that's the way I connect with industry, because they are mentors, right? I can constantly ask questions. And nowadays at work, I also create opportunity. And one thing I learned from a lot of great leaders, like they actually buy donuts and they buy coffee. They literally just say, hey, I'm bringing donuts. This is on level 1. Anyone want to come? And everyone just go. And people connect over food. So this is what I learned usually as well. Like if you feel like you're very shy or feel like, those kind of networking events are not very natural for you, I think those is the way you can go as well. But I think don't forget, be authentic, because you only can enjoy it when you feel comfortable or it is authentic for you. And find the group that you actually feel you get along. And when people reject you or didn't or ghost you, it's totally fine, because it doesn't really matter. You are learning and you are growing and you are, broaden your network. I think that's the only thing matter to you. Yeah.
Would you like to add in something?
It really threw me back to maybe 6 years ago, I think, when I first started networking. I was literally that introvert girl. My first network event was at Westpac building in Barangaroo. And I just I didn't even know what does network mean. And I didn't know what's agenda for that today. And I didn't know any single person who went to that event. And then after, networking always started with, panel talk or like a panel session. And then that is okay, because you're not supposed to ask any questions, or you're not supposed to tell any story and to not sell yourself, like to network. But what was the most scary part was after the panel session, and then they were like, networking starts. But then you would started to see all of those people, they were like holding some drink, champagne or like a glass of wine, and started chatting. Hey, how was your day? Everything just looks so natural. But then I was like, wait, do they know each other? How come they have so many things to talk about when they first met? And they were like working professionals, they're really pros, and I'm just a student. And I don't even know what to ask. So I standed by, literally at the gate, and I started observe. I tried to find another person who was as lost as myself, and then just like, hey, what's your name? My name is Carrie. Are you also a student? And what brought you here today? And then we started chatting because, like, I agree with Shiney. The best way for you to start networking is to find a wingman or wingwoman. Our mutual friends Daniel, who introduced us this opportunity as well. This also made your whole experience less intimidating. So once you group together as a team, you can join any other team that is networking on the night. And I do find that it's very practical and very handy. And the second lesson that I've learned during these years, because now I consider myself, I love networking and I can always enjoy it. I actually energize myself a lot by going to networking, is be open-minded. And people think when they were at student level, I mean, they would probably have this misconception, I do not have anything to offer back. Why people should connect with me? But that is not absolutely correct. All you want to show is you are eager to learn and you're curious about, you have that genuine interest of, hey, what do you do in your life? Like, show me, like, tell me about your 9 to 5 day life. What do you do in your day job? And show that genuine interest is always, always, always a good step to make new friends and to link with new connection.
Yes, I see. I have a question. Like you mentioned communication, like networking is really important. So how can you like integrate that into your like AI power like mentorship programs? Yeah, I just curious.
I love this question. And
Yes.
so because in the previous couple of years, right, I did so many career consultation and consultation, and I mentored so many people, students, and also even early career professionals. Access is definitely an issue. So access to the right network is definitely an issue. Let me ask people, like maybe just ask you guys, when you started to reach out to people, where do you go? LinkedIn, right? Facebook, right?
Yes.
But then when you were like nobody, I'm not sure if this is fair to say, but like normally students, when they're not having those titles with them, like we were considered as nobody because we all started somewhere. But then what you're gonna face is people will ghost you because you can't blame others because they have a life to go with and everyone is living such a busy life right now. So can't blame others for not responding to your question or like to have some time with you. But even if lucky enough you have some people to finally agree to meet with you for a coffee catch up, and you don't really know what you can get out of this conversation because you don't have an agenda and you don't know who you are and you don't know who they are. So you guys just do not click. That is the thing our startup want to change, because we want to make the network, we want to make the mentorship accessible for everyone, and especially international students. And that is how AI can beautifully be brought into this space, because AI can transcribe your need, even like better than yourself knowing yourself. And then that need could be translated into some specific points and problem where other people, they have that experience, and then we can match you guys. So that is the thing.
Anytime, anywhere.
Yes, this is our mission.